So I just finished watching MF Ghost Season 1, and I wanted to share my thoughts on it because I had a pretty good time with it, and I'm also a pretty big fan of Initial D. A couple years back, I reviewed all of the anime together in one spoiler-free video, so if you'd like to learn more about Initial D, I will post that in the button somewhere up here at the top. But it is important to watch Initial D first because they are set in the same universe, and some of the same characters carry over. It's actually a little bit in the future, so they return and they're older. They are relevant to the story, and they also mention events relevant to the original series as well. So you should watch that first. And I know I'll get people saying, but Bob, I enjoyed this even though I knew nothing about Initial D. I don't doubt that because MF Ghost is a pretty fun anime, but you will enjoy it more if you have the context. Plus, on top of that, Initial D is a good anime, so just watch it. So having seen Season 1, I already feel like there's going to be a lot of parallels in the writing style between this and Initial D. Of course, they are two street racing anime from the same person, so of course there's going to be some parallels. But what really was appealing to me about Initial D was the ratio that they had between racing events and talking about cars and the characters' personal lives outside of racing, whether it's building friendships, dating, the drama that is associated with that, and I think that's great. And I can already see that building up here in MF Ghost. However, I feel like the major differentiating factor between the way that these two anime are gonna feel is likely to boil down to the personalities of their central characters. Even though both of the main characters in these anime have very introverted personalities, everything else is really different because in Initial D, Tatsumi Fujiwara was just this expert at that one road because he had gone up and down it every night for so many years delivering tofu. To contrast this to the new lead character in MF Ghost, this guy is already an expert at racing. He loves racing. It's his reason to live, basically. He's been competitively racing since he was a child, and also he went to a specialty racing school. And there are other elements to his history and also his personality that make him just a master at racing already. So I feel like because of that, and because he is just comes from this position where he's very quiet and indifferent to a lot of things and very well educated on driving, I am just less interested in him as a character, and to me, that makes a massive difference between these shows. I'm gonna be honest with you, because I wasn't interested in the central cast of MF Ghost characters, aside from the carryovers from Initial D, I would say about 95% of my enjoyment of this first season came from the driving scenes, but they only occupy about 50% of the screen time, I think. So that means the rest of the time, there are these characters on screen, and I just don't care. I'm just not buying it. They weren't doing enough for me. Whereas, to contrast in Initial D, I was already hooked on both the driving and the characters within the first 12 episodes. So it is a big difference. I just feel like the characters are far less interesting here. But having said that, the driving sequences, I feel like MF Ghost, that might be its strongest point here, especially when comparing it to Initial D, because they do a lot of the same things Initial D made me fall in love with, because the driving scenes there, they had the dynamic camera angles, going inside the car, so many different perspectives, like the driver and his monologue, and the different mental states of them going through different parts of the road and its effect on them. Just so much information is being fed to you all throughout this intense racing sequence where you've got the cameras just going all the way around the car, the Eurobeat is back. It's just so exciting, but MF Ghost easily steals it here because it honestly looks better because they're both CG racing anime, and then Initial D is like, a lot of that is early 2000s CG, which just doesn't look good. And MF Ghost just looks so much better by comparison. So aside from the fantastic racing elements in MF Ghost, everything that remains are going to be your character-driven moments. And granted, I didn't care about these characters until the last few episodes. A lot of these scenes, I feel like they're building up towards something in coming seasons, especially considering the way that the last few episodes played out. So I think it will get better. However, there is this one plot point that I feel is kind of annoying, to be honest with you. And I feel like it's not a big deal yet, but it will become a big deal in coming seasons, because there's this love triangle going on where you've got the guys who are adults, some of them are in their 20s, and they are in love with this one girl who happens to be 17. And it's not like she's one of these age ambiguous characters that you have to Google it. They repeatedly state this. And I feel like this is a big point for the way that the love triangle is going to go in coming seasons, because there's another racer who they're building him up to be a big rival, where he repeatedly states that he has a fetish exclusively for 17-year-old girls, even though he's in his 20s, and as soon as they turn 18, he doesn't want them anymore. And it's just such a weird thing, especially when you consider how good the romance element was back in Initial D. That was really good. I was interested in the characters more, and even though I wasn't always favorable for the direction of the romance and the main character's choice in Initial D, it was still something that I was engaged in, whereas this is honestly a little repulsive. So my overall feelings on MF Go Season 1 are that it truly captures the exciting racing elements of Initial D, but the character and the story elements really, I feel like it's too early to tell. And we're just gonna have to wait and see. And we won't have to wait that long because the second season has been announced for 2024. No set date yet, but I suspect it'll be fall. So I give MF Go Season 1 a 7 out of 10. Should you watch it right now? I would say hold off. Watch Initial D first and then watch this after. You have time, because this is not a complete experience. So you might want to watch this right before the second season airs. And I feel like that is going to be the best experience. So yes, check it out, but wait until you finish Initial D and wait until the second season begins airing to just go through that, so that you have this connected story and get the most out of it as possible. So have you seen MF Go Season 1? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you soon with another video.